Segment 01 says, talk about off the rails. Can you imagine Kittle and Berry pounding wine coolers?
What do you think of that?
1,000%.
I misread that after pounding. It's terrifying.
Yeah, we'll keep pounding.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know what? I will just say this right now, and maybe hopefully this gets to George Kittle. Proud Fantasy Life investor, George Kittle, by the way.
Him too.
Your
army expands day by day.
He was in our last round. If George is listening, or anyone that's in George's world, if George would like to do a podcast called Pounding with George and Matthew, I'm down. And the subject can be whatever you want.
Your people should pitch that thing.
I'm just saying. Tell me that's not great.
Yeah.
We'll put it on Peacock. Come on.
Got a chance.
Pounding on Peacock with George and Matthew.
It's not your worst idea.
Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. Matthew is still here with us.
Yeah, what if the show
pounding hasn't taken off?
What if Keep Pounding with George and Matthew is literally us just pounding beers? I'm impervious to beer, as you know,
right. Yeah.
and that's what the whole show is like we're just pounding beers the entire hour.
I think you go the other way and you call the show Stop Pounding or Cease Pounding.
Right.
There's no more pounding.
No. You have to keep pounding. Just like the Panthers are, just like Dave Canales is. Yes. Dave loves to pound. He loves to watch people pound. They love to keep pounding. It's a whole thing in Carolina. Yeah. They've got a red hot team.
6 and 5 pounders.
6 and 5. That's with Bryce Young.
Feels
we will talk about Bryce Young.
Feels like they're 3 and 8.
We will talk. Yeah.
Jay is blushing.
No,
that is from
blushing.
SEC man.
No, it's makeup. I don't
it's just that he doesn't blush. He has no emotion.
No.
Actually,
blushing is
he
an
really
emotion.
doesn't.
Yeah, I'm impervious to blushing.
Doesn't really get mad at things. Doesn't get too happy.
No. You remember how are you a Star Trek guy at all, Connor?
No, sorry.
Yeah. So
Neither am I.
I'm not a Star Trek guy. I was much more a Star Wars kid than a Star Trek guy, but I'm familiar enough with Star Trek. And you are you have enough knowledge.
Somewhat of a baseline. Like I understand. The show is not on planet Earth. That's
correct. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
And you know the character Spock?
Yeah.
You ever heard of Spock?
I don't know. I can Google it.
So Spock is basically Spock is emotionless. Like he's very logical. He's very smart on the show, but he is emotionless. He shows no emotion. That's
Jay.
That's Dr. Spock over here.
New nickname for you.
I'm just telling you.
Spock.
And like you sort of look a little bit alike.
Interesting.
Like pull
Split
up
McGriff says Spock is a great call.
Thank you.
Stuntman Chuck calls you the Spockler.
The Spockler.
Yes.
1,000%. It just occurred to me right here. The Blushler, Quiche Monster, not bad. But
I know who Spock is.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, stupid Dev, do me a favor. Find a picture of Spock and do it side by side with Jay Croucher, and you'll see what I'm talking about here.
Okay.
You are Dr. Spock. It literally just occurred with. He's the smartest guy on the ship.
Okay.
But he's emotionless.
Yeah.
Well, you got to kind of you have
which is kind of what you are.
I have to train myself to not betray my cool interior when Joe Flacco wins comeback player of the year. My soul leaves my body. Yeah, I can't be able to see it on my face.
That may have been the moment you turned into Dr. Spock.
Yeah,
that you became fully dead inside.
The stakes became lower for everything after that. Yeah, exactly.
It is a Waiver Wire Tuesday. We're here to help.
I really wish you and Sophia would have one more kid just to see what the emotion would be like if it's possible to come back. You know, when you're in the thing, you're just like, nah.
The gender reveal, where you just get nothing.
No, the doctor says, Jay, I have a bouncing baby boy or girl. You've got 3 girls, so it's likely you have a 4th girl, and you just sort of like, and you're just like, yeah, but Joe Flacco, you know how much money I lost on Joe Flacco becoming comeback player of the year? Right, Doc?
I wonder what the price is of that if I had a 4th child, boy or girl. You have to make girl like a minus 300 favorite, given the precedent.
I would think minus 500.
Male gene's taking a hit in this family.
Viscerani said, this already feels like a producer Pete day. Well, it does. Adam is in the big chair.
Adam's in the big chair,
So
Adam. Behind the scenes, always does our YouTube and our audio, stepping up into the big chair.
A lot of grinding.
A lot of grinding. Adam's a grinder.
Yes.
He is. There's no question.
Matthew's a pounder. Canales is a pounder. Adam's a grinder.
Yeah, there's no question about all that.
All right, we're going to highlight George Pickens trending upward, Ashton Jeanty trending downward from Monday Night Football, our favorite early week bets, as we always do on Tuesday during Early Line Alert. But before we do any of that, you are probably here because you need to scour the waiver wires thanks to injuries or these bye weeks. And let's start with the running backs on Week 12. Devon Achane is the big one. R.J. Harvey, if you've been dealing with the Broncos backfield. Kamani Vidal, who got hurt, but also has the bye week. And then Chris Rodriguez Jr. as well, Matthew.
Yeah.
Not a wild set of bye weeks, but
not for the running back position, but Achane's obviously a big one. People have been using Vidal. People had high hopes for Harvey if they didn't listen to us last week. And then you think about the injuries. That's the other concern, is that in addition to Achane and a couple of flex plays there. Vidal was RB2-ish. We've got some injuries to get into.
That's
starting
the big
with
part
Josh Jacobs, friend of the show. Josh Jacobs, friend of the pod. Josh Jacobs, number 8, hanging on our wall, but might not be playing this weekend against the Vikings.
Yeah, it's looking like an Emanuel Wilson week could be weeks with Josh Jacobs' injury. So hopefully you have insurance in Emanuel Wilson. If you don't, he's obviously our top guy on running backs right now. The 71% snap rate due to Josh Jacobs' injury. And we got to hear from Jordan Love on how he thought the backup running back played against the Giants.
Obviously, it's tough whenever people go down, but like we always say, next man up mentality. Emanuel Wilson came in. Obviously, he's played a lot of ball, but he did a great job tonight. Just finding ways to keep going. Like I said, I don't think we changed things up much. Kept going with our plan and our scheme, and he made some big-time plays in the run game. Obviously, the 2-point conversion was big time, some big-time things in the pass game, and pass protection as well. So he did a great job.
Emanuel Wilson, 92% available. They have the Vikings, and then they are at Detroit. But the volume, Matthew, is got to be big here.
Well, right. They're a run-first team. That's the thing. That's how the Packers want to run their offense here as well. They're top 10 in rush rate on the season. The Packers are. They're top 12 in running back target share. Some of that obviously is because Josh Jacobs is just so good. And, Matt LaFleur, very smart, uses the Josie method of getting the ball in your best player's hands. Not every coach follows that. But you think about when Josh Jacobs went down in this game, he outsnapped Chris Brooks 36-5. He was the only running back to actually get a touch for the Packers once Jacobs left the game. He's had 6 career games, not a huge sample size, but 6 career games where he's gotten double-digit touches, and he's averaging over 13 fantasy points per game. Connor, I'm curious as to your thoughts on him as a player, but I feel like Emanuel Wilson, he's always had some nice preseasons, and he feels like more than just a guy.
I agree. He's been a nice surprise for them with the find that he's been, being, I believe, at UDFA. I don't think he was drafted by the team. He runs exactly what LaFleur wants, is that downhill, run hard, good burst in between the tackles. And Jordan Love referenced just how ready he is from pass pro aspect as well. They trust this guy on the field. Yeah. And I don't know if they trust anyone else left on the depth chart, Jay, where it might only be 2 to 3 weeks, but, I would imagine he's going to be a top 15 running back play for you because of the offense.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think
massive workload against a Minnesota defense that so far the last 4 weeks is 25th against the run.
Yeah, that's not the strength of their defense, much more the pass defense. Jamal Presses Wilson, the top pickup overall.
Yes.
The issue is yeah.
So. It depends on who else is out there, candidly.
The issue is that Jacobs isn't going to be out super long term, so it's more of a short-term fix, but probably the number one option for this week specifically. I think that the
Can I answer that question? I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you here. I just want to answer that question real quickly, Jamal, which is I think it depends on, obviously, who's out there and what you need. But if I needed a running back, if I needed a player to start this week, then I think, or the next couple of weeks, then I think, yes, Wilson's the top pickup. But if I'm looking long term, I think the guy that is potentially out there in the most leagues that I think could potentially be a league winner is Alec Pierce of your Colts.
Oh, my man.
Yeah, your man.
My best friend.
Your buddy.
Alec
your
Pierce.
BFF.
Yeah, another pounder. Alec Pierce, he loves it. I agree with that because he will endure. His value will endure beyond 1 to 2 weeks, which might be what we're looking at with Emanuel Wilson. I do think with Wilson, the bear case around his potential value this week, the next week, was that maybe the Packers' offense is just no good because they were diabolical against the Panthers. They were even worse against the Eagles. And let me tell you, when Jordan Love got hurt in that Giants game and the Packers are down, it's like, is this season over for the Packers? They're just going to be done. They're going to be like 5-4-1 and the quarterback's hurt. Then Love came back in, and Connor, I thought Love was awesome in that game.
Yeah,
he led them down the field in the wind. He was chucking it Jordan Love style, a huge, deep average depth of target, and they seem to kind of rediscover themselves a little bit.
And it feels like such a fine line between the awesome Jordan Love weeks and the dud weeks because it could come down to Christian Watson making a play over 3 defenders or him doing that twice. So that's the weird thing with Jordan Love is they constantly want to throw the ball down the field, but you just don't know what you're going to get in terms of how often he completes it.
Yeah. I will say I agree with everything you just said with one exception, which is that I think if Jordan Love went down, I actually don't think the Packers would be screwed. I actually have been so incredibly impressed with Malik Willis since he's gotten to Green Bay. I thought he was a disaster in Tennessee. I'm in a dynasty league where somebody literally drafted him. This dynasty league that does their drafts prior to the NFL draft. So you just have to draft college kids and you don't know where they're going to land. And Malik Willis was the number one pick in that league, not by me, but by somebody else in that league. It's all fantasy experts or people that do analysis for a living. Really smart league. And I was just like, wow, this is the biggest bust in our Dynasty League history. And then he got to Green Bay, and you're like, oh, okay. Like maybe it was just Tennessee. Yeah. I've been really impressed with Willis since when he's gotten opportunities with Green Bay.
I mean, the 3 games that he's featured in over the past 2 years, they're 3-0. They haven't lost. It certainly does seem to simplify the offense for Matt LaFleur.
For sure.
And because I think that he has been struggling to find what is best in this offense. The offensive line has struggled a little bit. Tucker Kraft is out. What are we doing as a passing attack? With Willis in there, it does get a lot easier. I mean, they're marching down the field on the ground, but Love certainly gives them a much higher ceiling.
Yeah, I just think there's some teams where you're just like, and I'm taking off the rails here again, as always, but like Lamar Jackson goes down, Baltimore, we saw it. I know Tyler Huntley won a game, but whatever. Like, there's certain teams that if their quarterback goes down, we've seen it with Cincinnati, even though they got in production out of Flacco. Like, you lose your starting quarterback, you're like, ooh. Yeah. But I actually think the Packers would be okay with Malik Willis. There we go, just some love for Malik Willis. That's all it is.
Our next running back is Kenneth Gainwell. He's 67% available. Obviously, Jaylen Warren is banged up with his ankle injury. We'll see how long-term that is. But Gainwell, no matter what, Matthew, because of how often the Steelers throw to their running backs, seems to have value, especially in PPR formats.
Yeah, they're top 10 in both. They're top 10 in running back fantasy points per game, but they're, to your point about passing to the running backs, they're third in running back target share. Now, Aaron Rodgers is going to miss this game. We'll talk about that in a little bit. It'll be Mason Rudolph, but it's not like Mason Rudolph has this cannon arm who's just going to be like, no, I'm just going to be chucking it deep.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be dump-offs, whether it's Gainwell or Warren, or likely both. Jaylen Warren said after the game, like, no, I could have gone back in. They were up big. He didn't want to press it. But players always say that. You know what I mean? It's not going to be up to the player. It's going to be up to the Steelers' training staff. Now, this is an important game for them at Chicago, but so we'll see. But I just think Gainwell, because he's been so productive when Warren has been out, he's had 2 games he's played 2 games this year. Literally 2 games where he's had over 60% of the snaps. And in those 2 games, he's got 29.5 fantasy points and 31.4 fantasy points. Like, he is somebody that has made Caleb Johnson irrelevant, and I think should be 100% rostered, because if I had Jaylen Warren, I'd want Kenneth Gainwell, because again, that if Warren were to miss time, whether it's this week or in the future, Gainwell can step in and be productive.
Yeah, and Connor, I think as you project the Steelers' offense going forward, I don't think Mason Rudolph's worse than this version of Aaron Rodgers. I don't think that's a material difference really at all. Now, Rodgers was...
Did the line move at all? I bet you didn't.
Well, I mean, I think the line was kind of baked in that he probably wasn't going to play. I'm not sure he's been 100%. Has he been 100% ruled out?
No, but it'd be pretty shocking.
Does have a break in his wrist.
Yeah.
Feels like you miss a week with that,
Yeah.
At least. But Rudolph, again, this is it's a situation where, he's not Shedeur Sanders coming in out of the cold with no first-team reps or whatever. Like he has, the first-team reps thing is great, by the way. It's not like many.
He's the first backup quarterback that didn't get first-team reps during the week.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Unbelievable. That's the thing. Is like, does the other guys, they don't get first-team reps either.
Time.
But in any case, I do think Rudolph, because of his history with the team, his understanding of the offense, should be a pretty clean transition. I mean, it was the Bengals, but he was fine in that game, and the Bears' defense isn't that imposing either.
Ryan Oswald asks, Gainwell or Swift?
Yeah, Ryan Oswald, by the way, I don't think he's ever been on the regular top 10, but he's starting to make, I wouldn't be surprised to see him on others receiving votes this week. He's been coming on strong lately. I think the answer is, Ryan, what I would say to you is, well, is Jaylen Warren playing? I think if Jaylen Warren is out, I think it's actually Gainwell, right? I'd rather go against Chicago than go against Pittsburgh. But if I'm a running back. But obviously, if Warren plays, then you want DeAndre Swift. Again, the Steelers have solved their run. They've been much better against the run recently.
They seem to have kind of fixed their defense a little bit with moving Jalen Ramsey to safety, getting healthier on the defensive line. I don't think it's an elite top 5 type of defense, but I mean they were an absolute disaster previously, and they seem to have fixed things up a little bit.
They're 7th against the run over the last 4 weeks.
Yep.
This next one, Matthew, is for you. Sean Tucker, 73% available. He's still out there everywhere.
The Tuckler, the Tuck Daddy.
The Tuckler.
Yeah, I mean, Tucker Kraft can't use it anymore, so we might as well pass it on to Sean Tucker.
He's not dead. He's not dead. Tucker Kraft will return.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he'll come back next year.
He's leasing the nickname.
Yeah, okay. Unbelievable. Yeah. LeBron goes out for LeBron's out with the back. There has to be a new king. No, he gets the name back.
Who's the new King James?
No, stop it. No, that's different. When Tucker Kraft has won 4 MVPs and 5 Super Bowls, then we can talk.
Okay.
Stop it. That's LeBron James, proud fantasy life investor you're talking about right there.
Yes, he is.
Making his return tonight.
Can I tell you a real story?
King James Cook, for now, until LeBron's out. James Cook is King James.
Yeah,
Stop
I
it.
like
No.
that. It was King James for
giving out
12
nicknames.
hours before LeBron comes back against the Jazz tonight.
And I tell you, can I tell you a real story real quickly?
I would love this.
Because you're like, does he know?
Yeah, we're going to ask that every time.
No. This is a true story. I will 100% true story, which I think is funny. I didn't know. No, in all seriousness. So Maverick Carter is the CEO of Spring Hill and everything that he is LeBron James' business partner, very famously, right? And so Maverick is who I deal with, obviously. And so, I know Maverick pretty well. And so, but I was doing at the beginning of the year for the DraftKings, they had me interview LeBron James. LeBron and I did that touchdown parlay. We did a promo shoot. And so I texted Mav and I said, I have an awkward question to ask, but I'm interviewing LJ on Sunday. Does he know we're in business together? Because honestly, LeBron James he's a billionaire. Outside of the field, a court, I should say, he has so many interests and so many things. Like, and we're a relatively small company compared to, like, he owns a part of the Red Sox, right? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, right, seriously. And so, but Matt was like, yeah, no, you're 100%. Like, LeBron got a choice to choose who he like DraftKings presented him with options, and chose me. And
that might be
Maverick was like, yeah, no, he's aware that we're in business together. He knows about the deal, and
I think the real takeaway.
That was a big, So the answer to that question is yes, which I literally didn't know for the longest time.
Understandable.
My real takeaway is that you call LeBron James LJ. Which I'm unfamiliar with.
Which I think you call Lawrence that sometimes too.
Sometimes.
So Lawrence,
Lamar
LeBron
Jackson
James.
as well.
Yeah. It feels weird to text like his best friend saying, "Hey, does LeBron James know?" Like, I don't know. It just
Mr. LeBron.
That's how.
Mr. LeBron.
I'm probably revealing too much, but that's how he's referred to me. When people refer about him to me, they call him LJ. So anyway, whatever. King James is and will always be the king. This is a pro King James table and show. So yes.
Sean Tucker. Over 20 touches last week. The problem is, I
thought it was an interesting story.
It was. I liked it.
Sure.
It was good. Very good. The problem is, Matthew, this is the Kenneth Gainwell combo a little bit all over again. If Bucky Irving plays, does Sean Tucker even see any touches?
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. We just don't know. And the other challenge here is you're going against a Rams defense that is fantastic. They allow the third fewest fantasy points to opposing running backs this season. The Rams have been just so good. And so Tucker, who was so amazing, but we talked about him yesterday. Should he be picked up? Of course he should be, because there's a scenario where Bucky Irving doesn't come back this week, right? He was limited in practice last week. Seems like they're sort of ramping him up. I feel like he does just because the Bucs need a win. Like, this is an important game for Tampa Bay against they still have a lead in the division, but this is an important game for the Buccaneers. But there's a chance that Bucky Irving does not come back. Yep. And so, I don't know how you put that toothpaste back in the tube, seeing what you've seen from Sean Tucker. Like, again, he's been trending up in terms of his usage with the Buccaneers. This is one of the reasons why he was on our show last week. We talked about Sean Tucker in this show last week, saying he got 44% of the Buccaneers running back touches. He's continuing to increase his workload, and so it's a tough one here. I wouldn't go crazy. I wouldn't blow all my fab unless we got word between now and you have to put in your waiver bids, and I think that's unlikely, that Irving's definitely out, because there's a scenario where all three are active, and you're not going to want to start any of them until you know kind of how this, because it could be a three-headed running back by committee.
You probably have to have Bucky if you're bidding any fab on Sean Tucker.
Yeah.
Because it feels like it could be a total sunk cost in 2 days. And maybe it's not, but if you have Bucky, at least there's some kind of logical path to getting production.
I don't want to go crazy for it, but but one thing I might say is that if he's out there on the waiver wire and I'm like, you know what, I don't need him, but you know who does? The guy 2 spots ahead of me who has Bucky Irving on his team. Sometimes the best offense is the best defense. I have no problem, especially if the trade deadline hasn't passed in your league, grabbing Sean Tucker and trying to trade him to whoever has Bucky Irving. And you don't even have to ask a lot, but get something for him. Tucker's too good, and this offense is too explosive for Tucker not to be rostered. But I also want to lower expectations because I think there's a scenario where he's not usable this week.
Yeah, it is
because again, if Irving's,
It's crazy the psychology of wanting the backup running back to the injury-prone guy that you have and how people overpay for that. I have Zach Charbonnet in a league, and the Ken Walker manager is just so desperate to get Zach Charbonnet. There's just something mentally about just wanting the comfort of knowing that if the injury-prone guy does go down. But I agree. The good thing as well, this week is tough against the Rams. They're touchdown dogs now, by the way, which is not a lot of respect for Baker Mayfield and Todd Bowles and co. In LA. But after that, Arizona, New Orleans, Atlanta. I think they have another game against New Orleans after that. I think they still got to play they don't have another game against New Orleans, but they play the Panthers twice with the NFC South on the line. Blockbusters coming up in the final month of the season. So very favourable schedule for Sean Tucker after this week. So he does have huge ceiling if Bucky Irving does get re-injured, which does seem pretty possible.
Feels like next summer we're talking about starting running back Sean Tucker and Tyler Allgeier somewhere else. They're both free agents.
Yeah,
I think both those guys are going to get a serious look to at least compete to start somewhere.
Yeah.
They're that talented.
I mean, I don't know that they get paid,
No,
right?
no running back. Look at Rico Dowdle.
That's right.
They get a 1 year, $2.5 million deal.
Yeah.
But
So they won't get. But I agree with you. They're too good. Like
to be second, third string kind of guys.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if they move on from Rachaad White. Seeing what I mean, because they were using Tucker out of the backfield too.
Yeah, that would be the savvy play.
Right?
I'll be there for another decade.
Think so? He can never get. He's like.
Yeah.
He's the Joe Flacco running back. Like he's just never.
Yeah.
You can just. You can
he's
never
like
kill
rich
it.
man Samaje Perine. He'll just always be around.
Always there.
Yeah.
So that's true. I mean, Samaje Perine's going to play another 4 years in the NFL.
They gave the ball to Samaje Perine with the Super Bowl on the line.
It's unbelievable.
Speaking of crowded backfields.
That's why they lost it, by the way.
Yeah.
They lost. Don't get me started.
I don't got to go there today.
Wow.
Bhayshul Tuten, 70% available. Some would say scootin' Tuten before he got hurt. Only a 32% snap rate because of that, but it felt like, Matthew, before he got banged up, they wanted him involved heavily, especially across the 50.
Prior to leaving the game with that ankle injury, he out-touched Travis Etienne 15-12. Over the last 3 games, he's gotten 12 red zone touches. He scored in 2 of those games. To your point, right? It looks like they've sort of noticed what we all have since the preseason, like, no, there's a burst to Bhayshul Tuten that Travis Etienne, who's no slouch himself. It's not like Etienne is bad.
Tuten's an elite athlete.
Yes.
Though. And Etienne I think he's, a little step back.
He's been banged up. He's taken some hits.
Yeah.
The argument, the anti-Bhayshul Tuten argument from a pro perspective, Connor, you correct me if I'm wrong, but was just like, he was unbelievable at Virginia Tech, right? It was the fumbles.
Small and fumbles.
Right. But those 2 things have not manifested themselves at the NFL level yet, in terms of issues. And so then you're like the size and the speed and not the size, but the speed and the burst. Like he can go between the tackles. He obviously can be powerful in the passing game as well. Like explosive guy.
We're seeing more teams take chances on players like this. The Dolphins nailed it with Achane, which is like the pinnacle. You want to be careful with that, but the Ravens want that from Keaton Mitchell. Jacksonville wants that from Bhayshul Tuten. R.J. Harvey is kind of like that with the Broncos. Smaller backs are finding their ways and getting bigger roles. He's such a dynamic player.
Not that Bucky Irving
is not the athlete,
not the explosiveness, but like again, smaller guy that can, Yes.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, I think as well, it got a little, swept under the rug is the right word, but so much other stuff was happening on Sunday that I don't think it was really been magnified that the Jags beat the Chargers 35-6.
Yes.
Like the Chargers are 3-point favorites on the road in that game. I thought the Chargers would win. I thought the Jags looked pretty done after that Texans game and their form they carried into the bye before that. But that was very encouraging for Jacksonville to be able to, the Chargers don't have a bad defense at all, and the Jags did largely whatever they wanted.
Strange team.
Very strange team. This team beat the Chiefs in primetime, got blown out 35-7 by the Rams without Puka Nacua,
lost to the Raiders.
Should have lost to the Raiders.
Easily.
They gave up, a 19-point lead to the Texans? Like a complete mess all around. But they do have upside. And also, I still think Liam Cohen is a really good offensive mind.
I agree.
And as they get acclimatized to that system, there is scope that maybe they could ignite in the second half. I'm still skeptical because Trevor Lawrence, they've had such bad moments this year, but there is upside.
He's not going to get anywhere near winning the award. But Liam Cohen has done a great job coaching this team, given what the talent level was and all the injuries they've dealt with, right? He doesn't have that team has overperformed expectations significantly.
6-4.
Yeah, I mean, so, right.
Rosinator asked, who's a more elite handcuff, Bhayshul Tuten or Kenneth Gainwell?
I'm going to say it's Bhayshul Tuten. Obviously, it depends if you had Jalen Warren on your team, but not Travis Etienne, then, so I think it's an interesting question here. Handcuff suggests, I don't love the word, I love insurance back, right? But in terms of insurance back, it just which one of those starters do you have? But in terms of if you're saying elite, in terms of upside, like Kenneth, if you knew Jalen Warren was out for the year, to be like, you know what, Kenneth Gainwell is going to be a solid RB2 the rest of the way. Yep. But if you knew Travis Etienne were out for the year, or for whatever reason, Bhayshul Tuten has the chance to be a league winner.
Yep. Right.
Like he could be. So, I mean, I think it's Tuten, and I don't think it's particularly close. Tuten has an upside and explosiveness that just you'll never get from Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah, shoot for the stars, Schwarzenegger. Home runs, not singles.
Yeah,
especially this time of year.
Yeah,
right. You're not trying to stay afloat,
no,
probably.
But again, if you have Jalen Warren, you know, like Gainwell's more important to you.
Yes.
But just those two guys in terms of, I guess, elite, I'm interpreting that as explosiveness here as well. And so we need Tuten to come back. Obviously from injury. We'll see how serious that ankle injury is as the week goes on, but it's just worth noting that he's getting more work. Seems like he's somewhat overtaken this backfield, and it's a nice matchup with Arizona as the Cardinals are bottom 10 in terms of most fantasy points allowed to opposing running backs. You see some other deeper league guys here, Connor.
Yeah, so to recap the top guys, Emanuel Wilson, Kenneth Gainwell, Sean Tucker, Bhayshul Tuten. The deeper league guys are Chris Rodriguez Jr., Devin Singletary, who is obviously splitting the work with Tyrone Tracy, but still heavily involved. Tyler Allgeier, that we mentioned, very touchdown dependent. Tyjae Spears, it's required for us to mention him on the show.
Drake London out, we'll talk about it later. Like, they could go just, and Penix out, they could just say, like, every play's a handoff, Kirk Cousins. We know you can't throw. Yeah. So Allgeier could get 15 touches against the Saints.
Probably in their best interest. Bam Knight with the Cardinals. Obviously, Amari DiMercato is hurt, and we don't know the status of that backfield. It feels like
what
we just keep defaulting to Bam Knight.
Yeah, we assume it's going to be Bam. Assume it's going to be Bam Knight, who's been somewhat productive, and then Jaleel McLaughlin, Denver, on a bye this week. But it did seem like, again, we talked about it yesterday. They're not giving this full workload to R.J. Harvey. Now, maybe out of the bye they will, they'll work with R.J. Harvey on some of the pass pro stuff, but just feels like, McLaughlin, got the goal line touches. McLaughlin's going to be in that mix.
Can't believe the Broncos are 4 games clear of the Chiefs in the division. It's unbelievable. They're 9-2. I'm not sure if they're any good or not.
They find a way every fourth quarter.
Credit to them.
I told you guys, at the beginning of the year, I was talking with somebody in the Chiefs organization, and we were just talking about the season in general. And I mentioned I like the Chargers this year. This is before Rashawn Slayton got hurt and before Joe Alton, their entire offensive line went down. But I was like, I think the Chargers are kind of interesting this year. And the guy from the Chiefs says, we agree, but we're worried about the Broncos. We think Bo Nix is legit, and that defense is as good as anyone in the NFL. Like,
well, he was right about the second
50-50.
Yeah, I went 1 for 2.
Yeah. The record is what they are.
Bo has found a way in the fourth quarter.
He has. He's had some inconsistencies and some second-year growing pains, but they're in the mix for the 1 seed in the AFC.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah. Ironic, the other 2 teams in the mix for the 1 seed: New England Patriots and Indianapolis Colts.
Crazy.
So not the Ravens, not the Bills, not the Chiefs.
What would the odds of that been in the preseason?
Those being the top 3 seeds in the AFC
by week 11,
like 5,000 to 1.
I was just going to say.
Impossible.
Yeah.
I like that. I like when we don't know how to set them, just impossible odds.
Yeah.
Let's go to the pass catchers here. Wide receivers and tight ends on the bye week. Of course, the Chargers once again coming up into this conversation. Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen, QJ, Aronde Gadsden, the big 4. Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin, Jalen Waddle, Deebo Samuel, who had the touchdown in Madrid, and Zach Ertz. So we start with, and somehow, some way, Alec Pierce meets our threshold again.
Oh my goodness.
At 50, Jay, explain this to me. 51% available.
That's a disgrace. It's a stain upon the industry that Alec Pierce remains so available. It's funny that we have these headings.
Is it a stain upon the industry, or is it just a sign of your lack of influence?
That's true. That's potential. I need to stick to like NBA most improved player markets.
Yes.
It's King of the court.
You know how we often talk about like, oh, this is a brutal.
Do you think that Joe, in addition to just killing your bank account, do you think the Joe Flacco winning comeback player of the year killed your, just like what, Jay? Because you talked all year about like how DeMar Hamlin was like the no-brainer. He came back from the dead. How does he not win this game? How does he not win this award?
It was a good reminder not to
go
publicly all in on a -400 shot. There's just no upside. There's no upside for me. People view it as binary win or loss. You don't get any credit. In any case.
Yeah. Another bad look from Jay, by the way. Do we have this? Oh, there we go. Come on. That is Dr. Spock and Jay Croucher. Wow. Twins, I'm telling you.
Unbelievable to pull
Jay
that shot of me
somewhere.
Yeah. By the way, not shown on the lower half of that, I am actually wearing an Indianapolis Colts shirt in that photo. Yeah, which, by the way, was in 2022. Further proof that I've been a lifelong Colts fan.
Yes.
As there is a photo
took
from
a little hiatus.
2022. We often talk about how it's a brutal bye week, so many guys on bye. This is actually a fine bye week.
This is what they do in Star Trek. That's how they shake hands, I believe.
Yeah. Great. Very manageable bye week overall. Like, there's not great kind of superstar players on bye between the Chargers, the Broncos, your Commanders, etc. But Alec Pierce, again, I think that his production was a little bumped by getting concussed against Tennessee, but when he's been out there, he has been fantastic. He is the best wide receiver. I think he's the best pass-catching option in this offense. And also, I think that the Colts, as their schedule gets tougher, they're 3.25 dogs effectively in Kansas City. They're probably going to have to throw a bit more than they want to because they want to lean on the run. But Alec Pierce, yeah, like we've said, Con, he's going to get paid like a wide receiver one, and he's performing like it.
Since week 7, he's the 17th best wide receiver on a points-per-game basis, out of the concussion, out of the bye. To your point, Kansas City, Houston, at Jacksonville, which isn't as much of a layup as we thought, and at Seattle. 3 of the next 4 are elite defenses, and Jacksonville, no. So to your point, all those defense, we're going to say, like, we'll take our chances with Daniel Jones in this packet stack. We're not going to let Jonathan Taylor beat us. So I think they will all try to load the box, and they're going to have to take shots to Alec Pierce. So I do think, given the offense of, like, if he's out there in your league, we like Alec Pierce quite a bit.
Michael Wilson also meets our threshold, just 53% available, of course, because of Marvin Harrison being out last week. He was the #1 target, and boy, did he not only live up to the hype, he exceeded it with 18 targets, 185 receiving yards. We got to hear from Jacoby Brissett on Michael Wilson's huge day against the 49ers.
Yeah, I think that's what we expected from him. I thought he was going to rise to the occasion, and like I said earlier in the weekend, my press conference, I was excited to give him this opportunity. Well, for not me giving him this opportunity, but the opportunity to present itself for him, that he was going to put on display what we all see every day. And I thought he played his butt off and made a bunch of plays for us.
Not only a bunch of plays for the Cardinals, but a bunch of plays for my team, Stephen DiAgostino.
Did you win again?
I won again, 4 straight. 4 straight. I'm 4-7.
This is actually pathetic.
I know.
From the league.
I'm
not responsible.
Back, though, right? What? Yeah, you're not actually going to make the playoffs.
No. I'm not. I have not officially been eliminated from the playoffs. So, and there are teams in our league that have. So, I guess mathematically, there's a chance. I think it would be highly unlikely, just looking at everything like that. But my point is that I have.
You've restored dignity to
I have
the
restored
institution.
dignity. I lost Evans for the year, Laporta for the year, Jayden Daniels for the year. Might as well have lost Xavier Worthy for the year because he's unusable.
Yeah.
But I have I persevered and I've managed to turn it into a mediocre team.
Yes.
As opposed to last place.
The Cowboys last year. Everyone thought they'd completely collapsed when Cooper Rush came in, but no, you started winning a few little games here and there.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm like the Cooper Rush of our league.
Yeah.
There we go. Nice.
Cooper Rush
That's a good title to have.
Yeah, there you go. The Coopler. All right. Anyway, we like Michael Wilson quite a bit. Jacksonville allows the 4th most yards per game to perimeter wide receivers. We don't know yet the status of Marvin Harrison Jr., but certainly Wilson has earned himself a larger role. Also worth noting that Greg Dortch had a 70% route participation, went 6 for 66, caught the touchdown as well. So Dortch, if the human Dortch, if Wilson is not out there, worth taking a flyer to see if Harrison doesn't come back this week.
Our last wide receiver is Darnell Mooney, 69% available. Nice. Upcoming schedule, Saints, Jets, Jay, where it hasn't been a good year for Darnell Mooney. He started out the year hurt in training camp. No Michael Penix, but there's just no one else, really.
There is no one else. I'm not sure 100% it's going to matter because Darnell Mooney, he's pretty dependent on the deep ball, and I'm not sure his quarterback can throw it far enough to get him that deep ball. I think that it's going to be largely Bijan in the passing game, some Kyle Pitts as well, who Cousins has developed something of a rapport with last year. Darnell Mooney, I suppose he has to be rostered because he is by definition a wide receiver 1 on an NFL team, but outside of that, I wouldn't be expecting tremendous things.
It's like being John Mechie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I'm not. I've had he might have a good game. I mean, listen, to your point, the schedule's really good the next 2 weeks, Saints and Jets, but kind of want to see it. I don't know. I haven't been impressed with Mooney this year. Haven't been impressed with the Falcons' offense overall. Haven't been impressed with Kirk Cousins at all. Like, there's just a lot here that you're just kind of like, yeesh. I guess if you're desperate. Some other quick mentions here very quickly. Christian Watson, 20% target share last week. That was a season high. Obviously caught the 2 touchdowns. The rest of the guys are banged up here. How about Jayden Higgins, who finally seems to have moved up the depth chart here.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about Hutchinson or whoever. He's at least a 15% target share in 3 of the past 4, including 5 end zone targets. Finally, Luther Burden has bypassed Olamide Zaccheaus on the Bears depth chart. 61% route participation last week for burden. We certainly love it. And how about Tyrell Shavers, tied for the team lead in targets in Week 11? Again, super small sample size, but I think he's impressed. He impressed in the preseason as well. Keon Coleman has been very inconsistent this year, Connor, and I don't know, if you're on the field with Josh Allen, potentially good things can happen.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention him.
Yeah, as we saw Josh Allen hold the ball for 1,000,000 seconds and fire it down the field.
That was an unbelievable play.
Sick play, awesome throw. By the way, we have a little update here on Aaron Rodgers. This is from Tom Pelissero. Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers underwent further tests Monday that confirmed he won't need surgery on his fractured left wrist, sources tell me in Rap Sheet. Rodgers is pushing to play Sunday at Chicago, but doctors must clear him and his status moving forward is to be determined.
Okay.
I don't think it changes really anything from a fantasy perspective. You're not going to start Mason Rudolph anyway, unless you're super desperate. You're probably not going to start Aaron Rodgers either if you're super desperate. Seems not ideal to play a game of football with a fractured wrist, but I don't know. That's just me. If he can give it a go, he can give it a go. He may have the lowest time to throw in NFL history.
Right, 1.8 seconds.
Yeah. It might be good for Kenneth Gainwell if he has a quarterback with a fractured wrist.
For sure. I mean, the Bears secondary has struggled, over the last couple. It's not like they're
a great defense.
They haven't been great.
Maybe he wouldn't be playing if he was playing the Seahawks.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. The Bears, over the last 4 weeks, the Bears are 28th against the pass, and that includes a game against J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, it's rough.
I mean, J.J. McCarthy had one good drive last week, right? But otherwise, it was like...
It was a long day.
That was tough.
Bears 7-3.
Bears 7-3.
Yes, another
Bear down.
Miraculous.
Yeah, division leaders.
Yeah, keep clawing.
Keep clawing.
There we go. Yeah. How about tight end targets
Panthers
here?
could take that one too, but I've given it to the Bears. The Panthers like to pound.
I like that you're the orchestrator of the nicknames.
Yeah.
I'll let them have that.
I've made it. Someone has to do it.
That's true.
Yeah.
The league office should hire you for this.
Yeah.
Nice little gig.
I would have thought through for the shoe. It's a weird one.
Yeah.
I like for the shoe.
For the shoe?
Strange.
It is a little. It's a little odd.
It sticks with you.
Yeah. What's the Chargers one? Bolt up?
Isn't it bolt up?
I don't think it is.
We always say that.
I always say it, but I always make it up.
I think it's like go Bolts go or something stupid.
We always say bolt up. I guess
always say bolt
so many times.
But I always do that. I always do that because of the bird up thing, the stupid thing that I made up with the Falcons, bird up, and then I just added that to every team.
Sure. I like tighten up.
Tighten up.
Yeah.
That one's actually correct.
Yeah.
That's what Tennessee's actually is. It is tighten up. Oh, it is bolt up?
Yeah, that's what the chat says, and I always trust the chat.
Yeah.
Really good choice by me.
All right,
we got to keep it moving. Tight ends, Dalton Schultz, 51% available. He's got the Bills. 9 targets in Week 11 for Dalton Schultz, which is not too far from the norm. He's had at least 8 targets in 4 of his last 5 games, Matthew.
11 fantasy points in 5 of the past 6. Plays Buffalo. They're going to have to throw against the Bills. You know that. 3 straight games with a 20% target share. He's a big part of this offense. Lord help us all. But yes, he's the best of the current available tight ends. How about Juwan Johnson, Connor? Friend of the podcast, friend of the show, friend to everyone.
Friend of Tyler Shuck.
Friend to Tyler Shuck, friend to me, not a friend to stupid Dev. The one tight end he didn't pick up in year 1, and it cost him a championship. But he's finished as a top 13 tight end in 7 of the past 10 games. Shuck has done a good job with this offense. It seems to have given it a little bit of a lift. And, listen, do you love Juwan Johnson? No, but if you're just sitting there like, I can't find a tight end, shuck it, I'll go with somebody. Juwan Johnson is the guy.
You practiced that one at home. Yeah. You could
just
tell.
came up with it right now.
All right,
not the last time you'll hear a bad pun.
Schultz and Juwan Johnson are the top tight end waiver targets. The deeper league ones, Colston, Loveland, Harold Fannin Jr., Brenton Strange, a name we have not gotten to bring up in a while because of injury.
I love Strange. I love some Strange.
A.J. Barner coming off a strong week. And Jay, maybe Tyrod Taylor will be the guy to give Mason Taylor a chance.
Possibly. I'm old enough to remember when Mason Taylor, we thought he'd be a top 8 tight end going forward. He's getting a ton of targets. He's just quarterback, can't throw the ball, and throws the ball like he's Steve Traxel winding up on the mound.
Great callback.
But now he gets a player who can throw the ball in the air. So I think there is, much more upside for Mason Taylor with Tyrell than there was with Fields.
And how about Harold Fannin Jr. at Las Vegas? The Raiders defense, we'll talk about them in the next segment. But since week 7, he's had a 23% target share, which is top 8 among tight ends. And whether it's Dylan Gabriel or Shadur Sanders starting this week, neither of them, I think, will be. I think Fannin will get a decent amount of targets, whichever quarterback is under center.
Let's go to the quarterbacks. Speaking of them, the ones on a bye, Justin Herbert, Bo Nix, Tua Tagovailoa, and Marcus Mariota, who once won Matthew a bet somehow. We'll never forget that. But
yeah, Jay welched on his, Jay would not, he made plans with somebody else, so I couldn't get a dinner with him in Philadelphia.
Got in at 2 a.m. anyway.
Yeah.
We would have never had the
We'll
dinner.
make up for it Super Bowl week.
No,
and
Kansas
I'll tag
City.
along.
Kansas City.
I won't tag along.
No, yeah. We're in Kansas City in 2 weeks.
You're not going to make the Super Bowl week. The cold in KC is going to kill you.
It very well might.
Philly was the first. Philly was the first blow to the head.
Maybe I'll make you buy me a steak at $15.87, the Mahomes-Kelsey restaurant.
You should wear one
that
of
looks
those hats
expensive.
on football night, like with the flaps over the ears. That'd be
Flappy Matty.
Yeah, with wardrobe, if you're out there, give it a shot.
Yeah. Can I tell you they gave me a cap, because like Devin was wearing one. It was so cold in
Everybody
Philadelphia.
looked cold.
Everyone, we were freezing, and so some people wore caps, and so I put one on. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm not really a cap guy, but I'm so freezing. What do you think? I put it on, and Kim, our makeup artist here, we all love Kim. Kim takes one look at me and goes, yeah, no.
Kim perfectly honest.
Yes, we love Kim. Anyway, I was like, all right, thank you, Kim, because Chris, our wardrobe guy, who I also love, he's like, no, you can pull this off. And I looked at Kim, and Kim's like, no.
Chris is being nice.
Chris is the best.
Yes, he's
but
being
yes,
nice.
Chris
You're
was
more
lying
of
to
you're
me.
a scarf guy.
Yeah.
On football night. That's like your thing.
Chris was. Kim agreed that I could get away with the scarf. I was freezing. All right.
If you need a quarterback, Mr. Completions, Jacoby Brissett had 47 of them last week. Hopefully they keep getting blown out because he's a fantasy cheat code when they do.
He understands the assignment. Since taking over the starter, Jacoby Brissett is the fourth best quarterback on a points per game basis. He's been a top 12 guy. He's been a QB1 all 5 weeks that he's been a starter. They're second. The Cardinals are second in passing rate since Jacoby Brissett became the starter, which is sort of telling on Kyler Murray a little bit. I mean, maybe it's also they want to use him as a runner more, but man, oh man. They're home to Jacksonville here. The current line is 47.5, so we expect some points in this game as well. So Jacoby Brissett is like not even bye-week filling. Like, he's a legit starter and has been for a couple of weeks here as well. Speaking of that same game, Trevor Lawrence is out there in a decent amount of leagues. Arizona 27th in pressure rate, so Lawrence should have a clean pocket. And the Traveler, hopefully, as we talked about, gets Brian Thomas Jr. back this week. Potentially, another week of Jacoby Myers being more ingrained in that offense. Talked about Brenton Strange. There's a chance potentially we see him as well.
Right.
He might have his full comp, no Travis Hunter, but, have a real offense around him for the first time in a while.
Bryce Young coming off the monster performance. We're not going to act like that's sustainable, but San Francisco hasn't been good against quarterbacks this year, Matthew.
Yeah, since week 3, they're the worst pass defense in the NFL. They're giving up over 267 passing yards per game. I mean, we just saw Jacoby Brissett light them up as well. So Bryce Young potentially usable this week against the Niners. And then again, Tyler Shuck, my favorite quarterback in the NFL from a pun-related, make my bosses nervous perspective. Tyler Shuck gets the Falcons. Shuck it. He'll shuck it down there. Falcons have allowed 10 touchdown passes over their last 4 games. Hey, do you need a stream of defense, Connor? Because we got some.
Yeah, Browns against the Raiders. You all got to watch the Raiders offense last night, so I don't think I need to give you any more details on that. The Bears against the Steelers, although we're keeping an eye on who's the starting quarterback, although it might not matter too much.
Exactly.
The Raiders right back at it against the Browns. Could be Shedeur Sanders.
It could be Shedeur Sanders,
game.
exactly.
And then Jacksonville against Arizona, which a little more risky than the other ones because Arizona's been very good at getting garbage time points. We're going to take our first break when we're back. Is it time to panic? With Ashton Jeanty, we're recapping Monday Night Football right after this.
Haven't we already?
Weeks
Panicked?
ago.
Yeah.
Weeks ago.
Yeah. More panic?
Chip Kelly. Kings. Jay, what do you like in this game?
I'm going to take the Cowboys -3.5.
Nice.
I think Quentin Williams is going to revolutionize this defense. My man Donovan Ezaraku is playing a lot better as well. This Cowboys defense, I think, is going to be great going forward, but I think it will be much more respectable.
What about you, Matthew?
I'm going with the Ashton Jeanty over 17.5 receiving yards.
Despite the debut of Quentin Williams, the total for this guy is still really high, 50.5 points. And for that reason, I'm going to take the under.
Never in doubt.
Always.
The under was never in doubt.
Under bettors, you drink for free.
Oh, man, was that a
Super
sweat.
easy one. Awful experience. Don't recommend it, ever. I owe a big thank you. I'm going to write out a handwritten thank you to Brian Schottenheimer.
Rightfully so.
Yes.
Rightfully
Going for
so.
it at the end, yeah.
Just kneeling over and over again.
Yeah. Just, being respectful.
CeeDee Lamb not catching it.
Oh.
Just 8 million things went
8 million ways that the over could have hit, but none of them did. Our parlay cashes. Thank you, Mr. King. And
yes, it's nice to have a clean sweep for us.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, 3 for 3.
3 for 3.
The top scorers in this game, really good stuff from the Cowboys. Probably very frustrating if you were on the Raiders side of it, as we see George Pickens was just phenomenal. The Raiders tackling, not so much. One of the funniest touchdowns I've seen all year. Dak was Dak. CD, once again, it could have been a much bigger game if he catches that fourth down at the end and just walks into the end zone. Trey Tucker gets the garbage touchdown. Geno Smith and Brock Bowers, I mean, you want more.
Considering what that offense was, that could have been worse, for Bowers, much worse as well. Ferguson bails out his night with a touchdown. They just didn't do much. What's so frustrating is somebody who needed a nice game from Javonte Williams just didn't get it. The usage was there, just for the first time, he just doesn't get into the end zone. Right? It feels like he scores every week, and this one he didn't, over 90 yards. He was, but I don't know that there's a lot in, and look at Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett continued to be out there.
Out there.
So let's start, first off, there's been 6 full games that George Pickens, I want to talk about the Pickler here for a second.
Piccolo.
Piccolo also, 6 full games. People were wondering about George Pickens. He's no longer going to be the number 1 in Pittsburgh. Now he's going to the Cowboys, where he's going to share targets with CeeDee Lamb. Is this going to kill his value? And I think we all made the point in the preseason, we don't think so. We actually think this is an offense that's going to really cater to George Pickens. He was on the preseason love list as well because Dak Prescott is one of the great deep ball throwers in the NFL. He's actually really good at that. He's very accurate deep. And obviously Pickens now, with unlikely the number 2 corner on most teams, should be able to get free. He's now played 6 full games with CeeDee Lamb this season, where the 2 of them have been out there. He's averaging 15.7 fantasy points per game. Pretty solid.
Yep. I think the thing with Pickens is that this is the first time in his career he's played with a really, really good quarterback, which is what Dak Prescott is. Pickens never had great quarterback play in Pittsburgh. Well, the best quarterback he played was Russell Wilson last year, who is now a 3rd stringer on a 2-9 team. So I think that Pickens, one thing is I think Dallas's defense is actually going to be reasonable the rest of the way. So they might not be in quite as many shootouts. But George Pickens, I think his floor is a wide receiver 2. Who's going to have legit wide receiver 1 flashes. And he's just a reminder as well, you're just so dependent on your quarterback play. Justin Jefferson can't overcome J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy just sinks everything. Dak Prescott has really helped elevate George Pickens. 2nd most end zone targets in the NFL this year for George Pickens, which I don't think people would have guessed before the season. So, Malcolm J., Pickens better be flying up those ranks, Barry. No doubt, Malcolm J., absolutely. He's earned it. I've considered the request, and I'm going to grant it. Malcolm J., you're welcome. Tick.
You're welcome, America. Now, so anyway, the Cowboys offense just, was as advertised. They play Philadelphia next week. That'll be a fun one. Other side of the ball.
Ashton Jeanty.
What do we do? I'm throwing up my hands here.
Well, good on you for taking the receiving.
Well, that's why I did, because I didn't think they'd be able to run.
Right, and they were down as we expected, and they checked it down to him a lot, although it feels like Geno almost panics and then throws it to him when Jeanty's about to get killed every time. But it's just they had zero interest in running the ball in the first half of this game, guys. It was an awful Chip Kelly game.
Weird. 17% target share for Jeanty since week 5. Back-to-back games with a 20% target share, which is, again, that was the argument that I made for why take the over on the receiving yards here, Jay. But, the offense looks broken. The line is getting blown off. Again, the Cowboys aren't as bad as we thought. Again, Quentin Williams, it would be tough to run on them. But, from a fantasy perspective, I think, I'm not saying definitely, I think you probably still have to start him. It depends on what your options are, but I don't think he is no longer in, I don't care what the matchup is, you're just there's certain running backs, whatever. doesn't matter who Derrick Henry's playing. You're starting Derrick Henry. Doesn't matter who Bijan Robinson's playing. Like, he was drafted to be one of those guys, and he's not.
Yeah, he's like a low-end RB2. Ved, is Jeanty a buy low candidate?
I don't think so. Look at this upcoming schedule. They play Cleveland. They're home to Cleveland this week. Then they're at the Chargers, home to Denver, at Philadelphia. Jalen Phillips is making that Eagles run defense a lot better, that entire defense better. And so, like, 2 of the next 4 matchups are against teams that rank top 5 and fewest fantasy points allowed to opposing running backs. They faced Houston in week 15. Houston in week 16. So that's the middle of the fantasy playoffs. You see it right there. Like, there's not one game the rest of the way, with the exception of maybe the Giants in week 17,
that's the championship,
where you feel good about the matchup. So then you're just like, okay, well, so all the matchups are tough, but at least you're banking on Ashton Jeanty's talent and their commitment to the run. But it doesn't seem like they have any of that. We don't doubt Jeanty's talent, but at some point, it's not enough.
Yeah, at some point you just need some level of competence on the offensive line. Quinshon Judkins is dealing with the same thing in Cleveland. It doesn't matter how good you are, if you get tackled the moment you get the ball. So the offensive line in Las Vegas is just completely broken. Like, they've just lost too many guys. They were struggling even when they had their guys. So there's just nothing really to hold on to unless the receiving picks up.
Put a poll real quickly, Adam, if you can, in the chat. But I'm curious, who do you think from this point forward, who do you think scores more fantasy points the rest of the year?
Kenneth
Ashton Jeanty or Kareem Hunt?
It could very well be Kareem Hunt.
Right, Kareem Hunt's going to get probably 4 touchdowns. That's my point. And like, none of us are
insane conversation.
But that's my point.
Yes.
The fact that even if Jeanty ended up, it's probably Jeanty. Like, what? But the fact that we have to sit here and take a pause and think about that one should give you an idea of where we are with Ashton Jeanty right now. Because I don't know what you would set the odds at, Jay, but like, I think it's 50-50 chance that Kareem Hunt outscores from total fantasy points from here to the rest of the season Ashton Jeanty. Just because, again, he's their goal line back, and they do trust him there, and Pacheco's been banged up, missed a few games here. I don't know when Pacheco's coming back. Like, again, no one's excited about Kareem Hunt.
No.
And yet,
him trying to carry 3 people out of the end zone on the safety was like the perfect microcosm of everything wrong right now. All right.
Yeah.
We are going to go to our last break.
And it seemed like he paused before he did it. It was weird. I don't know if he was trying to hope for he was trying to figure out a hole that he could run through, hoping he was going to get some blocking.
This Sunday night, 2 high-powered offenses clash in Southern California when Baker Mayfield and the Bucs face off with Matthew Stafford and the Rams. Football Night in America leads you up to kickoff of this NFC battle at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're taking our last break. When we're back, our favorite early week bets on sides and totals. Last call after this. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app and use promo code FFHH when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook.
Oh, the crown is yours!
The crown was ours.
Last night it was ours. It will continue to be ours. We're not giving back the crown.
Early line alert, Jay. What are you watching?
I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns +3 in Las Vegas. This line implies that the Raiders are a better team than the Browns on neutral. The only team that I think the Raiders are definitely better than are the Tennessee Titans. No one else I feel good about. I think the Browns cover and win.
I like the Cowboys getting 3.5 against the Eagles. And I get it, right? Like, the Eagles just find ways. But the Cowboys got a little something right now. They're going to be at home. The defense has a lot of reinforcements. It's not just Quinnen Williams, but he helps a lot. I think they can hang around by at least that field goal.
I was surprised when the line for Colts at Chiefs was 50.5. The Chiefs' offense looks broken. We've talked about this. The Colts' secondary is as good as there is in the NFL. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for this big game against Kansas City. And by the way, I think the Chiefs' defense, this is a gotta-have-it game for the Chiefs' defense as well. I think Indianapolis tries to run Jonathan Taylor a lot. I don't see them getting over 50.5. So give me the under 50.5, Colts at Chiefs.
I like it.
All right, that's it for us.
There you go. All right, it's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. For Dr. Spock, Jake Croucher, and Connor Rogers, I'm Matthew Berry. We will see you tomorrow. Good luck on waivers tonight. Peace out.